Good morning, students. In our last class, we have discussed about the electrostatics. Electrostatics is the branch of physics which deals with static electric charges, which is at rest. And we have discussed about the quantization of charges, conservation of charges, and all. Today, we are going to see about the Coulomb's law. So, Coulomb was the first person. He was discussed about the force between the two charges. Coulomb's law states that the electrostatic force is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the 2 point charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distances between the 2 point charges. The force on the charge 2 due to the first charge, which is called F21 vector, is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r square into r12 cap. Here F21 vector represent to the force on the charge 2 due to the first charge. The value of 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught is the constant. The value of epsilon naught is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb square Newton inverse meter power minus 2. Here Q1 represent to the charge 1, Q2 represent to the charge 2, where r square is the distances between the two charges, r12 cap represent to the direction vector. So this is a simple explanation of the Coulomb's law. The force on the charge 2 due to the first charge is represented by F21 vector. Similarly, the force on the charge 1 due to the first charge is represented by F12 vector. The distances between the two charges is called r. Here r cap 12 represent to the unit vector. Important aspects of the Coulomb's law. The force on the charge Q2 exerted by the charge Q1 is always lies along the line joining the two charges. See the diagram clearly. The force on the charge Q2 exerted by the charge Q1 always lies along the line joining the two charges. Here r cap 12 is the unit vector pointing from the charge Q1 to Q2. Likewise, the force on the charge Q1 exerted by Q2 is along minus of R12 vector. In SI unit, the value of K is represented to the constant. The value of K is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, and its value, the value of 1 pi 4 pi epsilon naught's value is 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton meter squared Coulomb power minus 2. Here epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space or vacuum, and the value of epsilon naught is equal to 1 by 4 pi k, which is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb squared Newton inverse meter power minus 2. The magnitude of electrostatic force between the two charges, each of 1 coulomb, and are separated by a distance of 1 meter, is calculated as, let us assume the value of charge Q1 is equal to 1 coulomb. The value of charge Q2 is also 1 coulomb. The distances between the two charge is equal to 1 meter. Then the electrostatic force is given by 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into 1 whole divided by 1 square. We can get 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton. This is the huge quantity, almost equivalent to the weight of 1 million ton. We never come across 1 coulomb of charge in particle practice. Most of the electrical phenomena in our day-to-day life involve electrical charges is in the order of microcoulomb or nanocoulomb. In SI units, Coulomb's law in vacuum takes the form F12 vector, which means force on the charge 2 due to the first charge is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R squared into R12 cap. In a medium of permittivity epsilon, the force between the 2 point charges is given by F21 vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 divided by R square into R12 cap. Here epsilon represent to the medium. Since the value of epsilon is greater than epsilon naught, the force between the 2 point charges in a medium other than the vacuum is always less than that in vacuum. We define the relative permittivity for a given medium is below us. The value of epsilon r is equal to epsilon divided by epsilon naught. For vacuum or air, the value of epsilon r relative permittivity which is equal to 1, and for all the other medium the value of epsilon r is greater than 1. Coulomb's law has same structure as Newton's law of gravitation. Both are inversely proportional to square of the distances between the particles. The electrostatic force is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the 2 point charges, and gravitational force is directly proportional to product of the two masses. But there are some important differences between the two laws. Differences between the gravitational force and the Coulomb's force. Force due to the gravitation and force due to the electrostatic. First, gravitation force. It is always attractive between the two masses. In the case of Coulomb's force, it can be attractive or repulsive depending upon the nature of the charges. Point number 2. The value of gravitational constant is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square Coulomb power kilogram power minus 2. In the case of Coulomb's force, the value of constant K is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton meter square Coulomb power minus 2. Point number 3. It is independent of the medium. It depends upon the nature of the medium in which the two charges are kept at rest. The last point, it is same whether the 2 point masses are at rest or in motion. In the case of Coulomb's force, if the charges are in motion, yet another force comes into play in addition to the Coulomb's force. Superposition principle. According to the superposition principle, the total force acting on a given charge is equal to the vector sum of the forces exerted on it by all the other charges. Consider a system of n charges, namely q1, q2, q3 up to qn charges. The force on the charged particle 1 due to the second charge is equal to k into q1 q2 divided by r square or 21 cap. Similarly, the force on the charged particle 1 due to the third charge is equal to k into q1 q3 divided by r square to r cap 31. By continuing this, the total force acting on the charge due to all the other charges is given by the net charge acting on the first particle is equal to force on the first charge due to the second charge plus force on the first charge due to the third charge, and so on. Therefore, net total charges acting on the charged particle 1 is equal to q1 q2 divided by r square r21 cap plus q1 q3 divided by r square r31 cap plus q1 q4 divided by r square r41 cap up to q1 qn divided by r squared rn1 cap. Next topic, electric field. So Michael Faraday introduced the concept of electric field. Every charge in the universe creates an electric field in the surrounding space, and if another charge is brought into its field, it will interact with the electric field and at the point, and it will experience forces. What called electric field? Electric field at the point P at a distance r from the point charge Q is the force experienced by a unit charge, and it is given by E vector is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square into r cap. It is a vector quantity. The value of electric field intensity is Newton Coulomb inverse or volt meter inverse.